Hello, it's Addy10, and the video you're going to be watching in the background is going to be another episode of How to Get a K.E.M strike. This time it is going to be on the map TREMOR, and TREMOR is definitely one of my favourite maps in the game. And you can pretty much hold down the spawns at any flag on the map, A, B or C, which is a really good feature, and it means you have quite a lot of stuff to go over in today's video, so you guys know how to hold down pretty much every spawn on the map. So as you can see, we're kind of on the C side of the map, and the enemies are starting to capture B flag, and this room is kind of where I spend a lot of my time, even if they're at C flag and B flag. More so if they're spawning at B flag, because where I looked right there, like I quickly took a glimpse at it, that is a spawn right there, where I'm standing right now. This room is a spawn point. That spawn point is quite strong. It used to be more strong until they patched the spawns a few times, so now people do tend to spawn there a little bit less. Another spawn is literally right in that room here. Them two people clearly just spawned from there. And this room is very important, like I said before. This is probably the most important building on the map of TREMOR. It's kind of like in the middle of the map, so you can hold down C flag and B flag and even A flag if the enemies do tend to run that way, but it's less so with A flag. But right here I tend to move over to the C flag side of the map. And I have a pretty good technique for this side of the map. Of course, once again, it used to be a lot better until they patched the spawns. But pretty much I tend to like to switch these head glitches. You can see me do it quite a bit, even though it is quite sped up. But yeah, I do tend to switch head glitches quite a lot, just because there's a spawn point where I'm looking there, and also a spawn point to the right as well. So right there where I'm looking, they can spawn there, and right here where I'm looking, that's a spawn point. So there's pretty much just, if you keep switching between the two, then they should be able to spawn like at each different one, because they physically can't spawn there if you're looking there. So if you just keep turning your head, then they should be able to spawn there. Like as you saw right there, then people did spawn there. And my PS4 controller did actually run out right there. So that was kind of unfortunate, but luckily I did manage to plug it straight back in again and managed to get back into the game without dying, which was pretty lucky actually. There is some spawn points also pretty much right next to the C flag, so you can't actually see them where I'm standing, but either way they're going to either run out from the right or the left. So you can pretty much hold down every C flag spawn if you are doing these head glitching kind of techniques. So I do really recommend you guys do that. Once again, we're moving over to the B flag side, and I'm going to try go over something. I don't know if I do it in the game at all. I'm really hoping I do, because there's also quite another important spawn point that I haven't gone over quickly in B flag. So once I go down these stairs, hopefully you guys will get quite a good look at that spawn point. But you see that blue building right to the left, that's kind of covered in like the blue kind of plastic. That is another spawn point in there. That doesn't seem to occur too much. Of course, it would only happen if they're spawning at B flag. So keep that in mind when you are doing that. Now, this is kind of like one of the techniques that you can do when trying to hold down A flag, and that's just switch between these two areas right here. There is a spawn point literally around that corner, so I can't see it, so that means that enemies can still spawn there. Also, right there where that guy just came from, there's a spawn point there too, which you'll get a better look at in a couple seconds here once I flick over to here. So that is the exact spawn point of where I just killed that guy. Also, this is another building which I like to go into when the enemies are spawning at A flag. So you guys can keep checking there just in case the spawns may have flipped the sites of B flag. Also, they do spawn right down here, like I said before, just around that corner. And finally, sometimes if they are spawning at B flag or they're coming out that main building I went over earlier, they can come over to this side. So going over to that ladder and trying to take off all the enemies from the head glitches, because that's most likely where the enemies are going to go. And that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover on this map. So let me know how you get on with these tips, and if you guys have enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.